everybody, this is Angela Savage, the daughter of IndyCar driver Swede Savage. It's time to watch stories from motorsports. My buddy, Doug Kenny, loves to share the journey of people in racing, and he is an amazing dude. Drivers, owners, fans, and team members, watch the SFM podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Stories from Motorsports. I'd like to thank my buddy Josh Mabe for the YouTube work he did years ago that inspired me to create this platform. I'd like to thank my buddy Victor Sifton for convincing me to get back into it after my hiatus from 2017 to 2019. I have a very special treat for you all today with an amazing journey from an amazing racing figure. Drivers, start your engines.
Career in February of that year, he didn't really get to enjoy. When Dale Sr. passed away in the crash, and Michael, it wasn't very long before he found out that it wasn't good, and then that it was the worst, and he never got to enjoy that monumental moment. So when Dale Jr. won that race and Michael helped him to win, I think it was a tremendous weight lifted off of a lot of people's shoulders. How many of us could put ourselves in either of their shoes, particularly Dale Jr.'s, about what it was like to go back to Daytona and get in a race car again and go race. And for the outcome for the night to have turned out the way that it did for both of them was healing. It was, never take away the hurt of what happened, but it was an uplifting moment that everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean not just those people and the people that worked with them and for them, but the fans needed too, the sport needed. It was a very uplifting moment, and very, very storybookish, if you will.
Yeah, you've had a lot of great storybook endings, like Justin Haley winning for the Spire team out of Jay Robinson's shop. That was pretty shocking, Yeah,
Daytona's the place, where expect the unexpected and don't tune away till it's over, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Harrison Burton proved me wrong when he won Daytona. I didn't think he had what it took to win in Cup, but, racing proves you wrong a lot,
It's a hard business. If you think about PGA Tour golf, NASCAR racing, there aren't two teams on the field. You go out in a Major League Baseball game or an NFL game or an NBA game, you've got a 50% chance of winning.
Pretty much.
And when you go out on the track, you're one of 40. Those statistical odds are significantly less that you're going to wind up in victory lane. And, when you're a golfer, you're one of, maybe 72. Those statistical odds are very, very difficult. So, it's a hard thing to do. It's the pinnacle of stock car racing. It's the pinnacle of sport. And things have to be perfect on most days in order for you to hold that trophy and overcome those long odds. And, on that day, they went perfectly, and it sure was a fun occasion for sure.
Yeah, definitely fun. And a lot more fun, I would say, slightly, than the final lap at Richmond. What was your reaction to that?
If you remember, after Sunday's race at Watkins Glen, Martin Truex had some comments about what the style of racing has become late in races. And that pretty much sums up my opinion of some of what we're seeing these days.
Yeah.
The the value of a victory, for a number of reasons, because of the playoff system, because of the sponsorship, the weight of a victory, what it means. The sport took a direction several years ago based on what everybody said they wanted, which was we want winning to mean more. Well, now winning is everything. And when you cross that with the unlimited green, white, checker finishes and all of the other things that go into it, the inevitable late caution flag that just naturally happens as the race gets closer to the finish, and the desperation, the move that I might have tried on lap 25, or I might not have tried on lap 25, I'm sure going to give a go, on lap 85 of a 90-lap race. We're just seeing the balance of give and take go to all take and no give. And I don't find that to be as positive a thing as it could be. You just would like for these races to be decided a little more on racing than some of them have been.
Yeah.
And I think you're starting to see a little backlash from that. The penalties after the end of the Richmond race that were handed out. Some of the drivers reacting the way that they've, and speaking up the way that they've become. It should take a little more to drive around someone, to race them, than just to crash them. And I think, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me slightly uncomfortable, and you'd like to have a conversation about that and say, okay, what has to be done to clean this up a little bit?
Yeah, I understand that completely. I remember seeing that and then hearing about Joey Logano's aggressive burnout in Austin Dillon's pit stall, and remembering that something similar happened 10 years ago with Matt Kenseth and Brad Keselowski. My thoughts were, oh gosh, here we go again. You know what I mean?
Look, racing's a difficult sport.
Yep.
The emotions run high, run hot. When you feel like you've been fouled, it's not like a basketball player getting up off the floor and getting in somebody else's, getting in the person that fouled them, getting in their face. This is, you've been crashed in a race car at high speed. You would expect the temper to be a little more heated because the stakes are higher.
Yeah.
So, there's no clear and clean answer.
Yeah.
But it does make me a little uncomfortable that the level of race versus wreck seems to be a little out of balance right now.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit like and subscribe if you did so, and please continue supporting our amazing guest. And everybody, we'll see you next time on SFM.
Hi, this is Ted Warner speaking. While the checkered flag is waved for this program, stay tuned for next week for the next episode of SFM. Thanks to Doug Kenny for what he does for motorsports.